for High Point. I'm Chloe, the president.
Hi guys, I'm Britt and I'm the vice president of Alpha Lambda Delta.
And I'm Josiah, I'm the treasurer of Alpha Lambda Delta.
I'm Jordyn, I'm the secretary of Alpha Lambda Delta.
Yeah, so thank you all so much for giving us your time on this Sunday. So we're just gonna talk about our club and the transition that it made over the last about a year and a half, going from not very active on campus to being a very prominent club on campus. And so we'll talk about the things that we learned, some of the tools that we use to help us get to where we are right now.
Yeah, so this is just an outline of what we are going to be talking about, so you can get a gist of how these next 10 minutes with us are going to go. And then at the end, we will have a little question and answer session, so that if you have any questions for us, we can hopefully answer them.
So just a little overview of our background. So when Brittany and I joined our organization, there was pretty much a large lack of attendance, advertisement, structure, enthusiasm. Very little people wanted to actively participate within our events and within the chapter. So it started from like zero, and we started to grow within the last couple of years specifically. But I guess one of the biggest things I noticed coming into the organization was when I was inducted, they had a reception after the dean's list and the induction ceremony, and they offered a table and the current leaders of the organization, or ALD, on our campus to talk to students that were just inducted and really kind of encourage them to get involved in leadership. And I think I was one of maybe 3 people, and we have a large group of people and student population that was inducted. So out of the couple hundred of people, maybe like 200, I think there were like 3 of us. So I definitely saw the lack of involvement from the get-go, and we started from the bottom. And Brittany, I know you want to tell a little bit about yours.
Yeah, of course. So when I first got asked to be in Alpha Lambda Delta, I honestly thought that it was a scam. I had no idea what it was. I had never heard of it before. But then I was asked by a friend of mine at the time, who was actually the president of Alpha Lambda Delta, to join the executive board because they really needed members. And when she asked me that, I honestly just thought it was going to be a good resume builder, and I wasn't expecting it to give me as much as it did. We saw how much potential this chapter could have, and Chloe and I kind of took it into our own hands to revamp this chapter with a point system that Josiah will talk about later in this presentation. And from being on this executive team, I have not only gained experience, but opportunities and like skills that will last me an absolute lifetime just from this past year and a half of changing Alpha Lambda Delta.
So like we were saying, Brittany and I, when we entered the chapter, there was pretty much less than 1% active participation within our organization, and really trying to be involved within our events, being involved on campus, actively understanding what the organization stood for on our campus. So that was roughly a year and a half, 2 years ago. And then starting in 2019, we revamped our systems with a point system, and we saw an immense growth with a jump up to like 20, if not more, % of our student population within our ALD organization really start to actively come to events and start to participate and want to be a part of the organization and really further the growth within our presence on campus.
One of the things that we attribute to the significant involvement change with our organization is this point system that we use. And so I have outlined here just like the requirements for students who are sophomores, juniors, and then seniors, the requirements that they have to meet every year to be in good standing with the club. And so good standing means that you're meeting all your requirements, your GPA is above a 3.3, and then just keeping the academic proficiency to be a good representation of our club. And one of the incentives for just our point system is that students who are in good standing, when they graduate, they are able to receive the free Alpha Lambda Delta course. We provide that complimentary to them after they graduate. And then this next slide here is just talking about why we're using the point system. And so I think it's always like a good idea to ask yourself, like why you're doing what you're doing on campus. And so we've all heard a lot of great ideas today and yesterday. And something that we do as an executive team is ask ourselves, why are we using this specifically for our club? And so how can this help the High Point University chapter get better? So with the point system, it's really allowing students some flexibility. So I'm sure we're all aware that students in Alpha Lambda Delta, some of them really want to be here and some of them aren't necessarily as interested. So with our point system, it really allows students that are driven and that are interested, it allows them the flexibility and the capacity to get more involved in the club. And one of the things we'll talk about later, especially with COVID, it's difficult to see that active participation and involvement. So we've added some more incentives for students that really still want to be involved, even though we're not in person. But on the other hand, the point system also, by having that minimum requirement, allows students that don't necessarily want to come to every single event that we're having. It allows them to do so, but also stay active and involved in the club. And I think one last thing before we move on. Yesterday, there was a quote that students are interested in the things they create. I'm probably butchering it. But with our point system, that's exactly what it is. Students will be more interested in the club as they create their own path in the club and as they do that. And so we believe that our point system, specifically on campus here at High Point, allows students to do that.
Hi, so regarding COVID, so we've all been impacted by COVID, what that means for our events, hosting them in person or virtually. So we have been really trying to still have incentives to make our members want to come. Again, we all know being across the screens from each other versus in person is not as entertaining, exciting. It's just overall not as of an amazing experience as it is to be in person. So we were trying to come up with different ways to still have our members want to come to our events, besides for just, you need to come, you need attendance. So we've decided to come up with ideas for different incentives. So we started working on a raffle. So what that means is that when you come to different events, the more events you come to, the more points or the more times your name will be entered into a raffle. So soon you're gonna see the different things that we're thinking about creating that our members will have the opportunity to win if their name is pulled out from the raffle. So we've been doing all of our events over mostly Zoom and WebEx. When we do meet for executive meetings, we are always wearing masks, socially distanced. But yeah, so our incentives, that's what we're really trying to pull out for this semester, since this semester is unlike anything we ever had before. So we're just trying to keep that attendance up, our members excited for our events. And yeah, we're just going to do customized ALD swag. So we're very excited about it, and you will see what that looks like in the coming slides. Okay, and then regarding our leadership team structure, we have the typical president, vice president, secretary, those positions, like most clubs do. We also have our historian, she's in charge of keeping track of all the photos and different information that goes into our scrapbook at the end of the year. So that makes it very organized to have a position strictly for our scrapbook. We also have our social media chair, who's in charge of posting all of our information on the different social media platforms. So if our members, for whatever reason, they missed the email, then they're going to see it on their social media, because we all know college students are always on their social media. So she makes fun graphics that nice looking feed, things like that. Then we have our events chair, who's in charge of coordinating all of our future events, talking with the different offices and setting that up. When we are back in person, she'll be in charge of coordinating what room will be reserved in. And then we have our graduate rep, who has been on their exec board for the past years, who just gives us a different perspective from the graduate student. So that is our leadership structure. So because we all have our bigger positions and then our more specific positions, that makes it a lot more smoother for coordinating everything else. So highly recommend having subsets of divisions. We're also thinking about having like teams this year. So for our bigger positions that has more things entailed, to have other people working under them so they can delegate more. And that also gives the newer members more opportunities to step up and thinking about, do I want to have an official leadership role in the coming years? So it's exciting for our new members and our older members to all work together.
And I know definitely one thing I want to add to this slide is when I joined the, oh, sorry. When I joined the executive team, one of the things I noticed was that it's very much this fluid dynamic. And so while we do have separate roles, we all really help each other out. If we see something that we can step into, sorry, I hear this ring.
There is a bit of feedback, but it's okay. We can still hear you. It's okay.
Okay, so okay, I think it got better. So there's this fluid dynamic of the leadership team, and so like when we do see this area where we can help out and use our skills to help maybe coordinate an event, even if like me, I'm the treasurer, I'm not the events coordinator, but if I see an area where I can help out to plan an event, because I have that skill set where I've done it in the past, then we all just really step up and step in where we're needed. And so that's definitely one of the things that I definitely appreciate being on this leadership team. It's one of the great things about ALD is because all of the people, all of my team members, they all want to be there. And so they're all super passionate and really driven to make this club incredible and stand out on campus. And then, so with ALD today, like I said, we've gotten so much more prominent on campus. And like what Jordyn was talking about with the incentives, especially for the COVID semester, we're definitely trying to actively involve and include our ALD members because, like I said, students are interested in the things that they create. And so with the raffle that we're doing with all of our events, we wanted to create some ALD swag, some masks specific for COVID, and then also some ALD stickers that we could also give out and be able to like share throughout our club.
Thank you guys all for the time today. We really appreciate you tuning in and listening to us and our presentation. So thank you so much.
Thank
If you guys have any questions, we're super active on our social media and our email is right there too. So feel free to reach out. We would love to talk to you about ideas. So yeah, thank you guys so much again.
And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Or
Yeah, let's give it a minute we have a few minutes left. So let's see if there's any questions. Josiah, I love that you were quoting, people support what they help create. That's so true.
Yeah, it was definitely the like main thing that I took away from yesterday. I heard it and I was like, whoa, I need to write that down.
You guys do a great job. Yeah, so organized. That's great. You've got their email. I just want to give it another minute to see if there's any questions. Great, I'm just looking at chat. Okay. All right, so I don't see questions. Great presentation. Thank you so much, all of you. That was a great panel of you. You divvied it up so well and so organized. But thanks for all you do for Alpha Lambda Delta, for your chapter, for the students at High Point, and for taking your time today to share your ideas with us. Really great.